I could have prepared more differently. I prepared differently now. I didn't at that point, but for me, I'm like, I don't know if it's not that. I have to feel it. I mean, she would give me a scenario and tell me what is happening, and I would just try and apply it to a situation because I would say my daughter. So I would just, instead of her, I would just picture my daughter in this situation, and so that would bring it up. But she was very respectful because I need to take a little bit of time before like a super emotional scene to just try to kind of get it a little bit. But kind of like that. But for me, I need to know my lines backwards and forwards so I don't think about them. I don't do them a certain way, so that way if Cynthia says, well, can you do it this way, then I'll be like, okay, I'm not stuck in it. Yeah, but for me, that's just because I don't have to, I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. I can actually listen to Michael without like, and then I'm going to say. But I mean, I still struggle with it all the time. I mean, it's hard.
Obviously, the more familiar you are with your lines, that allows you to forget about that and to be able to listen, because the whole scene, even though you're saying the exact same words, the whole scene could be entirely different depending on maybe she says something just slightly differently this time than she did last time, and that changes the direction of the whole scene, and it all ends up being completely different simply because of, you know, listening and reacting instead of just waiting for, okay, that's my cue. Well, you said this. You know, just you're living. It's real emotion in
An unreal situation.
In make-believe.
Make-believe,
What did Richard
yeah,
Warner say? He said he prefers.
like that, yeah.
I always said that it's real emotion in artificial circumstances, and he said he prefers make-believe circumstances. So, but yeah, everything is real. It's just it's not really happening. That's all. And so, yeah. So that is important. Knowing the words. Mm-hmm.
Do you always tend to second guess yourself after a take and say, darn, I shouldn't.
When I see it.
A choice.
If I see it back, then I'm like, ugh.
For me, it's at the end of the day when we're in the car driving away.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Man, you know what I should have done?
Yeah, that. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. I'll
But I see
replay it
some
in my
really
head.
impressive people say that though. So, so that's just everybody's like that.
Okay, so is there any role that you ever had that you said, wow, I wish I would have taken this direction specifically in any role, not just
In the aggregate, no, probably not. But individual little scenes, yeah. Almost everything I've ever done, there was something I wish I would have done differently. Especially like, you know, when I watch it and it's like, oh, you know what would have been good? Mm-hmm. Which is why I hope they bring back dailies. They don't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. I've never experienced dailies ever. But at the end of the day, they used to just go and just show the footage to everybody so you could see.
Well, we don't do that.
I don't think.
Yeah, I would love that
I mean,
just because.
sometimes we would, but a lot of actors would say, guess what? I don't want to see it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it.
I don't understand those.
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all.
I would nitpick it.
Everything is just so sped up now, I think. And I know mostly this from just watching. I watch anything I can about the making of movies. I find that sometimes a lot more interesting. I've seen more behind the scenes than I've seen movies.
Yeah, I look at every documentary, every anything I can watch.
Because behind the scenes, there's what's the new movie with Hugh Jackman?
Yeah.
I watched the behind the scenes for that. I can't imagine watching that movie. That musicals just make my skin crawl. But the behind the scenes, the making of was amazing, though, right?
What are some of the most difficult or strenuous times you have on set, and why do you think that was? And what is your best case scenario for a set or for other actors being able to communicate and, you know, kind of have rapport on a set?
Well, one wonderful thing is a lot of times I learned this, like a lot for an audition or something, maybe you just have one page of a script and you don't know anything about it. And then I took this class and trying to take this class, and it's learning the moment before and the moment after, and that can be that. What would be wonderful about her, and not directors, I haven't run into one that does this, she would give you a scenario before and after. She would always like tell you what was going on and everything, and that was so helpful, so incredibly helpful. And I haven't run into that a lot, but I'm not good. If you all of a sudden are waiting, and then you rush me on set, like the sirens, we've all done those. That's like you know, go. You know, that's difficult.
Yeah, those guys are rushed though. They need to get the shots.
It's more about the time frame than it really is about acting. I think. Well, I don't know.
There are different, like Cindy, you've got it figured out. You know what you want it to look like. You know, you've got the blocking in your head, and a lot of directors don't have that. And you sort of get there, and they expect you to be prepared and to know your lines. And it's like, okay, let's block this first, and then we'll shoot it. You know, it takes a little bit longer. Both ways are great, but it's the communication that's so important. I find that when I'm directed by someone who is an actor or used to be an actor or who does both, that's a little bit better because they know what you're talking about and they know what you're feeling and they know what it's like on your side of the camera. That's not to say that directors who've never been can't be, but they're more concerned with the shot and they just want you to be able to do what you do and they'll do what they do. One of my favorite directors is an artist, like a painter, like an actual artist. A painter, sculptor. He teaches at an art school in Pittsburgh. And that was almost, it was almost surreal in that when we talked about what we were shooting, it wasn't even like directing and acting. He talked about everything in terms of the art of what we were doing and the picture that we were creating. And that was pretty amazing. That was a movie called The Cabin. I can't wait for that one. Yeah, that's
That was awesome. I saw parts of it.
probably the spring, I think, is. But the trailer for that one's really good too.
Yeah, it is.
But that was kind of interesting, and that was condensed. It was a 10-day shoot. We shot an entire feature in 10 days, and we basically lived in the cabin. And we just woke up and had donuts and got shooting, and we shot until we were blurry, and then we did it again. And so just always communication. I think that's the most important thing. Just so there's no misunderstanding, that's the most important thing. And because after you've shot a bunch of scenes, then is not the time to find out that you weren't on the same page, you know. So.
Yeah.